Two balls are dropped from different heights at different instants. Now we are dropping the balls from different levels and we are not dropping them simultaneously. We drop the first ball and after waiting for some time, we will drop the second ball. Second ball is dropped 2 seconds after the first ball. If both the balls reach the ground simultaneously after 5 seconds of dropping the first ball, then the difference between the initial heights of the two balls will be. So, initial height difference is asked in the question. Let me show the question once again. So, here we have first person dropping the ball at t is equals to 0 second, and after 2 seconds, the second person will drop the ball. Let's see that. First person releases the ball, now the second person releases, and both the ball reaches the ground at the same time. The time at which the balls reach the ground is t is equals to 5 seconds. So both the ball reach the ground simultaneously. Good. Now we have to tell what is h1 minus h2. This is the question. Find out h1 minus h2. Now, when the balls were released, they were released with zero initial velocity. So, u is equals to 0. And we know the displacement s is equals to ut plus half at square. If u is 0, then we can simply say that h1 will be nothing but half g t1 square and h2 will be half g t2 square. Got it? Yes, we got it. Now tell me what is t1 and t2. T1 is the time for which the first ball was in air. And we can see 5 minus 0, t1 is equals to 5 seconds. And t2 is the time for which the second ball is in air. Can you tell me what is t2? Come on, tell me for how much time the second ball was in air. You will say it is 5 minus 2, that is 3 seconds. So t2 is equals to 3 seconds. Good. Now we can tell what is h1 minus h2. So h1 minus h2, this becomes half g. t1 square is 5 square and t2 square is 3 square. Now g is a 9.8. So I can write h1 minus h2. This is about 9.8 divided by 2 times 16. Now we can see 2 8s are 16. And 8 times 9.8, that would be about 78.4 meters. So let's see the options. Our answer should be 78.4 meters. Option B is the right answer for our question. Let's see another question on motion under gravity. A ball is thrown vertically upwards with a velocity u from the ground. Let me show you how the ball is thrown. Here is our boy. He throws the ball like this. So nice. The ball attains a maximum height h max. So we know what is the value of maximum height. Then find out the displacement at which the ball has half the maximum speed. So find out the displacement at which the ball has half of the maximum speed. Now tell me, what is the maximum speed during the entire journey? Where will we get the maximum speed? You will say we will get the maximum speed as the speed with which the ball was thrown. Yes, exactly. As the ball goes higher and higher, its speed will decrease. So let's say we throw the ball with initial speed u. Now as the ball goes up, after some time the speed is u by 2. So what is the displacement of the ball when the speed is u by 2? This is the question. Got it? We have to find the value of small h in terms of h max. Okay. Now let's proceed. What we will do, we will use this simple formula. V square is equals to u square minus 2gh. Do you remember the formula? Of course we do. Okay, let's apply this formula 2 times. Now, first of all, let's try to calculate maximum height. So V becomes 0. At maximum height, the velocity of the ball in vertical direction is 0. So V is 0. So we get U square minus 2G H max. So let me write it like this. And now we get the value of H max, and it comes out to be U square divided by 2G. So good. Now let's try and apply the same formula one more time. Now this time we will apply it between these two positions. Initial velocity was U, and at this height, small h, the speed is U by 2. So V becomes U by 2. We have U by 2 whole square. This is equal to U square minus 2G small h. Good? Yes. Now from this we are getting the value of small h as 3 by 4 times U square by 2G. Can you see that? So we can see that small h is about 3 by 4 times H max. Okay, we got the displacement of the ball in terms of maximum height. That's what we wanted. Exactly. So what is the answer? 3 by 4 times H max. Now let's see the options, and we can see that option D is the right answer for our question. Let's have a look at this beautiful question on projectile motion. A stone is to be thrown to cover horizontal distance of 3 meters. So we want the range of the stone to be 3 meters. If the velocity of the projectile is 7 meter per second, if the initial velocity of projection is 7 meter per second, find the angle at which it must be thrown. So at what angle should we throw the stone so that we get the required range? We know what is the initial velocity of projection. Now some people will say that is very easy. We know that initial velocity of projection is 7 meter per second and the range is 3 meters. So we can easily get the value of theta by applying the formula of range. Exactly, we can do that. But let me ask you, will we get only one angle? Will we get only one value of theta? Or more than one values can be possible? This means I want to ask you whether the boy can throw the stone at two possible angles to get the same range. Oh, we remember something now. For complementary angles, we have the same range. Yes. So if we keep the initial velocity as constant, we get two angles for which the range is same. Unless the angles are 45 degree, then we get only one angle. So in most of the cases, we get two possible angles for a particular range and particular initial velocity of projection. Good? Good. So let's apply the formula. What was the formula? Range is equals to U square sine 2 theta divided by G. This is the formula. Let's apply the formula. So range is 3, and then we have U square. U square is 7 square. We divide it by G. G is 9.8. And then we get the value of sine 2 theta. Sine 2 theta, as you can see, is coming out to be 3 times 9.8 divided by 49. Now 9.85 are 49. So we are getting sine 2 theta as 3 by 5. Now one possible value of 2 theta, is 37 degree. So from this, theta is coming out to be about 18.5 degrees. And we know what is the other possible angle. The other angle must be 90 minus theta. Exactly. So what is 90 minus theta? Well, this is about 90 minus 18.5, which is 71.5 degrees. So we get the two possible answers. One is 18.5 degree and another one is 71.5 degrees. So that was a really nice question. Let's see the options, and we can see that option A, 18.5 degree and 71.5 degrees is the right answer for our question. Here is a good question on projectile motion. Two projectiles are projected at angles theta and 90 degree minus theta with the horizontal respectively with the speed of 20 meter per second. So initial speed of projection is given to be 20 meter per second, same for both the projectiles. Now the angles at which they are projected are different. One angle was given to be theta and another angle was given to be 90 degree minus theta. These are complementary angles, so we can get the same range. In the question, they say one of them rises 10 meter higher than the other. Find the angle of projection. So one projectile rises 10 meter higher than the other projectile. The difference in the maximum height is 10 meter. So we have to tell what is the value of theta. We have to find the value of angle of projection theta. Good. So shall we proceed? Yes. Now what do we need? We need the maximum height formula. We will calculate maximum height for the second projectile. We will calculate the maximum height for the first projectile, and then we will take the difference. The difference must be 10 meters. And from that we will obtain the value of theta. Now, do you know what is the formula of maximum height? Well, I will remind you. The formula for maximum height can be written as uy square by 2g. Now, uy can be written as u sine theta. So, the formula is h is equals to u square sine square theta divided by 2g. Okay, so let's use this formula. Now, for the second projectile, the initial velocity is 20 meter per second and the angle of projection is 90 degree minus theta. So, maximum height, let's call it h2. h2 will be equal to u square. Now, sine square angle of projection is 90 degree minus theta. So, I will write 90 degree minus theta over here. And we will divide it by 2g. Basically, sine of 90 minus theta can be written as cos of theta. So, this is u square cos square theta divided by 2g. This is the value of h2. And what is h1? Well, it is very easy. For calculating h1, the angle of projection is theta. So, this h1 is u square sine square theta divided by 2g. Exactly. Let's take the difference quickly. So, h2 minus h1. What is the value? Let's take u square by 2g as common. And we are getting cos square theta minus sine square theta. Now, cos square theta minus sine square theta is written as cos 2 theta. Yes. So, h2 minus h1, it is 10. This is equal to u square by 2g. Let's take g to be 10. U is given to be 20. So, 20 square by 2g. Now, cos square theta minus sine square theta will be written as cos 2 theta. Good? Good. From this, we can get the value of 2 theta and then we can obtain theta. Now, let me cancel out something. 20 cancels out, bam, and 1 0 also cancels out. So, cos of 2 theta is half. Cos of 2 theta is equals to half. 2 theta, this means 2 theta is equals to 60 degree. If 2 theta is 60 degree, theta is 30 degree. Good. So, we got the answer, theta is equals to 30 degree. So, one angle is 30 degree and another angle of projection is 90 minus 30, that is 60 degree. So, the two angles of projections are 30 degree and 60 degree. So, we got the value of theta. Theta is 30 degree. Let's see the options. In the options, option A is 30 degree. So option A is the right answer for our question. Here is a nice question based on optics. An object is moving with 10 meter per second as shown in the figure. Determine the speed of image with respect to ground. So we can see object is moving at a pretty weird angle, and we have to find with what velocity the image of this object will be moving. So we can see the image on the other side of the mirror. What is the velocity of the image with respect to ground? That's the question. Understood? Now, whenever you get the object velocity at these types of weird angle, I suggest you to break the velocity into components and just make sure that one of the component is along the normal to the mirror. One of the component of the velocity, take it to be along the line which is normal to the mirror. Now we can see x-axis is normal to the mirror. Can we see that? Yes. Now the component of velocity along the x-axis is nothing but 10 cos of 37 degree, which is 8. So this is 8 meter per second. Nice. What about the other component? Well, that another component will be 10 sine of 37 degree. What is the value? 6 meter per second. Good. Now we have broken the velocity into components. So first step completed. Now comes the second step. The thing is, the component of velocity which is parallel to the mirror remains same for both the object and image. This means this 6 meter per second which is parallel to the mirror will be same for the image also. So as the object is moving in the upward direction with 6 meter per second, the image will also be moving with 6 meter per second in the upward direction. So let's mark 6 meter per second over here. What about the other component? Well, that will get reversed. So the object was moving with 8 meter per second towards the mirror. Image will also be moving with 8 meter per second towards the mirror. So you can notice 8 meter per second for the object was along positive x-axis, and 8 meter per second for the image is along the negative x-axis. So this component of velocity got reversed. So this is the concept. Break the velocity into two components. One component that is along the normal to the mirror, that component will get reversed for the image. So what is the final velocity of the image with respect to ground? Very simple. It is minus 8 I cap plus 6 j cap. So this is the velocity of the image with respect to ground. We can mark option C as the right answer for this question.